What's going on, guys? Aarava here, and welcome back to my second Need for Speed Payback video of the day. If you didn't miss the earlier one, do go check it out on my channel page. But that was about derelicts. This one is going to be about the bog standard customization of normal cars. So not scrap heaps, but cars you may purchase, cars you maybe win in races, I don't know. Whatever kind of car you have. Talking about the customization on that, and also some interesting tidbits on the tuning, and also some more kind of visual customization of things we didn't have in the previous iteration of Need for Speed 2015. So we're going to kick things off with the main bulk of customization. In this year's game, we have obviously performance parts. Once again, you'll have stock parts that you just have on the car when you buy the car first of all, but then you can upgrade 6 different categories, which include the block, the head, the turbo, the exhaust, the ECU, and the transmission. Now you can get new parts for each of these categories by either winning events, obviously during the kind of story mode, career mode. You can win events and they'll unlock some parts for you. You can also just straight up purchase them from these part shops they now have in the game. So the part shops themselves are also a kind of live kind of moving marketplace almost, because it says apparently, according to the articles on the website, that there may not always be stock for certain parts in the different shops. So you're going to have to keep on looking around, which makes it a bit more of a challenge. It's almost like you are literally going shopping in the real world. You're kind of hunting around different shops to try and find the specific part you want for your car. They may not have it in stock in one place, so you may end up having to kind of, sigh a little bit and drive across the entire map to a different part shop to try and find it. So it's going to be a bit of an actual quest and a challenge to try and really build the car you want to build. Each part itself also has a leveling system. So there's going to be a maximum of 18 levels, so 1 to 18. And so each of the levels will kind of add up to determine the tier of your car. So if you have a full car of level 1 parts, that will be tier 1. And according to the article, if you have a whole load of level 18 parts, that'll basically get to the equivalent of, I think it's basically tier 4 or tier 3.99, as it says on the article. I don't think you can, I think maybe 4 is the ultimate perfection goal that you'll never be able to get. But on top of the leveling on the parts, on top of that level system, you have also a perk system as well, because each of the parts have different manufacturers, and there's an actual mechanic for the manufacturers you're choosing. So there's something called brand synergy now, which is basically effectively brand loyalty, if you will. If you're choosing similar brands for different parts, you're going to get basically a level up and a perk because of that, because you're using the same part, using the same brand. So obviously there's going to be the synergy in the title of it, so you're going to get extra perks like extra top speed, extra acceleration, extra nitrous, air and braking, but at the same time you have to be careful, because certain brands will be better for certain parts of the car, which kind of makes sense. So obviously maybe you're going to have some brands that are perhaps better at making the block or the heads, and some others that are better at the exhaust system or the ECU or the transmission, and that also trickle down into ultimately how fast you can get the top end speed, the acceleration, the braking, the cornering speed, anything you want basically that you're interested in the car. That's all going to get affected by the brand. So there's a little bit more of a, well, not a little bit, way more kind of actual calculated thought you have to put into it. So there's almost a bit of kind of homework you have to do, and almost kind of just seeing and kind of taking a quick look at the menu and all the UI and kind of sussing out, right, so this brand's going to give me this benefit, but then if I get a second brand part of this, it's going to really bump it up, but then that maybe hits a kind of dead end road of the max kind of performance if you're trying to build, like, let's say a drag build, kind of a drag race build, so you want the top end speed. So maybe I want to choose a different brand then, so you have to kind of scrap all that, maybe change it around, so you may end up really changing your build on one car so many times to really fine-tune what you want. And that's just the actual buying of the part, because then we go on to fine-tuning and kind of live-tuning the car as you drive. So from 2015, if you played Need for Speed 2015, obviously you had the menu sliders to fine-tune the handling, so you could go from absolute grip build to a drift build, but that was all done in the garage. Now on Need for Speed Payback, you can actually bring up the slider menu live as you drive, and you can actually, it says on the article, if you dare, you can actually pull it up literally whenever, like mid-drift, you can pull up the slider. Let's say you're on a pretty good drift, it's a long swooping right-hander through a canyon, and you're in a pretty sick drift. You maybe want to now kick the tail out more, so you may want to open up the menu somehow and put even more kind of, tune it more to drift as you go on the fly, so your guy in the car is going to make the adjustment, and then you can get the tail out even more, what it sounds like, which sounds pretty insane. Something that I definitely won't be able to do. If I do try and open up the menu mid-drift, I will definitely just go straight into a wall. But you can open it up live now. So, and also each class of the car has its own unique set of sliders. So the sliders that affect the, let's say, the muscle kind of speed build are going to be different. They're going to affect that car differently to if you're building a grip build or a runner build, basically. And so they're going to be unique to that type of class of car, which also kind of ties back to in my previous video with the derelict build. The derelict build is obviously not kind of held back in any sense. You can make the derelict build any class of car you want. So in that sense, if you were to build up a derelict car, that would be the ultimate kind of, the slider would do anything you pretty much wanted to, depending on what you kind of built that car up to be. But if you're just buying cars and winning cars perhaps during the progression of the career mode, or just buying it in free roam, basically, you're gonna have to think about that as well. But you're gonna notice the fact that what you're changing on the slider, it's not gonna have the same effect class to class, which is a good thing. Obviously it's a bit more realistic if it's like that. And quickly also going back to the parts as well, the parts themselves, as I mentioned, it's a moving marketplace. You'll also be able to find apparently gem kind of amazing parts that may have 2 perks to them as well. So it's and that's also all going to be within that kind of moving ecosystem of the marketplace. So it pretty much sounds like no one person will have the same sort of game experience as the other. There's a bit of luck involved. There's a bit of maybe grinding involved if if you put in the hours to keep on constantly coming back to the marketplace, to the part place, to the part shop to kind of buy those parts. You're going to be rewarded eventually by finding those hidden gems. So it's basically going to be, if you're playing this game for a lot, you're going to get rewarded a lot, which obviously makes sense. The players who play the game the most should be rewarded the most, and it's a full kind of, it's not just that once the storyline ends, there's a lot more to do. Like, you can continue to work on your cars, you can continue to work on your collection of cars, if you will. And that takes us really nicely onto the actual garage collection now in this game. So the garage system is a bit different now. In 2015, there was only 1 garage. Now we've got 5 different garages that you can purchase. So you actually start off with only 1, and then you can go out and find the multiple ones. There are 5 maximum, and you have to go out and buy those garages. So again, it's not being handed to you on a plate. You actually have to grind for it, actually get some cash, actually get some experience, I'm assuming, to buy the garage itself. And then if you get all 5 garages, you will then unlock something called the Unlimited Warehouse, which is now unlimited space for an unlimited amount of cars. So if you're one of those people that really loves collecting the cars, collecting a certain type of car or brand of car, you can really go all out. If you get all 5 garages, you'll have an unlimited space for your entire collection, which I'm sure there'll be plenty of people who are going to be really, really happy with that, because I know from different games like GTA and stuff, having a collection of cars is quite a big deal for a lot of people in terms of just, presenting it, knowing that they're all there. Whereas in Need for Speed 2015, it was annoyingly, you had to keep on selling the car to kind of have it, because there's only 5 available now. Not the case now. You have so many more slots. On the point of actually obtaining those cars, I mentioned you can obviously go out and buy the cars from dealerships. Now, dealerships are going to work a little bit differently. Obviously, in 2015, you bought the car from the one dealership at the garage. Now, there are multiple dealerships scattered across the actual map, and different dealerships will be specialized in different classes of cars. So you want a muscle car, you have to go to try and find that specific dealership. You want an exotic sports car, you go to that dealership. You want an off-road car, you go to that dealership, and you have to go find them. So that's another point of discovery in the map, that you have to go out and find those. And if you don't, well, you're gonna have to look a little bit harder then. And then just like the parts shop, not all cars will be available in all dealerships. So again, the cars are just like the parts, a bit of like a moving marketplace, basically. And so it just feels like a little less static than it did in the previous game, where it's pretty much like, okay, all the cars available in the game are all there on the screen. Whereas now it's like, you don't really know all the cars available in this one dealership. There may be more hidden gems that you might want to buy in another dealership. And then finally, that brings me on to some more just visual customization of the cars. We've now got underglow or neons in the game. You would have seen some news maybe perhaps yesterday that needs to be dropped, a really nice screenshot of the neons in the game. So finally, obviously, that was a big requested thing from kind of a bit of a throwback from the old Need for Speed days, of course. We can now also customize tire smoke and nitrous flame color. So very much like almost GTA, almost full customization of that. So if you have blue neons, you can now put blue smoke on, you can put the blue flames on, and so it all matches up. Or you can kind of complement the color of your car, or you can match the color of your car. So full-on customization in that aspect as well, along with obviously the usual stuff that we've seen already from the EA gameplay of the different body kits and everything that you can color, obviously with wraps and everything like that. So that's been the information on customization from the trailer and the articles that have dropped here. Once again, guys, if you did enjoy and find the information informative, then I would really appreciate you hitting that like button, and also share it out with any friends that you know that may enjoy Need for Speed. Obviously my channel's not based off Need for Speed, but as you would have seen, I'm committed to kind of bringing Need for Speed content to this channel regularly, and so if you do have friends that do watch Need for Speed content, I would appreciate you sharing this with them, just so we can get some new eyes on these videos. But again, if you are new around here in that kind of on that subject, then do get subscribed. Obviously, there was a derelict video just earlier on, and as I mentioned in that video, I am going to be going to Gamescom, just like I did with EA Play in LA. I'm going to be going to Gamescom to hopefully be capturing some early gameplay of Need for Speed Payback at the end of August into September, so do get subscribed for that. Again, let me know what you thought in the comments below of this video, any of the information. Let me know if you're excited about any of those aspects I mentioned. But yeah, hope you guys enjoy the rest of your day. I will see you guys next time. Goodbye.